Essex and Rutherford, these and other mysteries are about to be revealed. Genesis.
I was searching, nowhere to run to. It started me thinking, wondering what I could make of my life, and who'd be waiting.
Well, we've all been doing stuff on our own. I think everyone assumes that as soon as you start doing things on your own, that's the end of the band. And it's never been any doubt between the three of us that, you know, we always get together every so often when all the time presents itself to do something. So I think it's just something to write about, basically. The people that say that we're splitting up or have split up.
Everything you said, there's so much you promised. How could I ever forget?
Working this way, we start with, I don't know, a drum machine just starts playing, or a rhythm or a riff or something.
Is that the drum machine over there?
No, so you can't even hold his sticks anymore.
Sticks anymore, over the hill.
His drumming days are over.
You know I want to, but I'm in too deep. So listen to me. Ooh, you must believe me. I can feel your eyes go through me, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to. It's great if you, to get on with people for that as long as we have to. I don't want to sound like Rick Parfitt now, but we just keep on rocking, man.
You know I love you, but I just can't take this. You know I love you, but I'm playing for keeps. Although I need you, I'm not gonna make this. You know I want to, but I'm in too deep.
How did you come to join this group of lads from Charterhouse?
Well, that was just another one of those adverts, you know, another in the long line of auditions. And I went with a friend of mine who used to be in Flaming Youth with me, which was the band I was in previous to Genesis. And we went along in his Morris Minor, my drums in the back and his guitar, because they wanted a guitar player as well, and went down to Chobham, which is where Peter's parents live, Peter Gabriel's parents. And this was luxury compared to what I was used to. I mean, I was used to about £5 a week with this band, Flaming Youth. And Genesis were offering 10, which was 200%.
We really were lacking, I think, a bit in just sort of in a solid base to the band. We had the ideas, and we had a lot of ideas in terms of sounds, and, you know, we were trying to be very ambitious musically, but we didn't have the drummer to cope with it at the time. And we really had to tell the drummer everything to do in those days.
They sent me out to the swimming pool to have a swim while they were auditioning the guys that were ahead of me. And of course I could hear everything that was going on, and I could see these other guys' mistakes. I mean, one guy warmed up for 10, 15 minutes with a drum solo. Well, I knew that was the wrong attitude to take, so I didn't do that. And by the time I actually played, I knew all the bits that they were auditioning people with, you know. So I kind of, I mean, I'd like to think that I would have got it anyway, but at the same time, it was a bit of cheating involved.
You came in and you seemed to just make the whole thing work. Because in my books, you know, you record a song or you write a song and then the drums come in and they kind of give it that lift and that human element. Phil, I think, was like all drummers tend to be, which is very up individuals. In the group, the drummer is nearly always the kind of, the joker, the funny man, the one who's got that light element, which works very well amongst the other 3 or 4 moody musicians, you know.
I was, I think, welcomed in a way because I was a refreshing change. You know, that I was class clown for quite a while when I joined, because, you know, my upbringing from being at a stage school was totally the opposite. Very precocious, anything goes, you know, say what you feel. As opposed to the way Mike and Tony and Peter had been brought up, which was, you know, quite closeted in a way.
We were a bit tense, always. You know, I'm quite a tense person, and I remember endless arguments, particularly between Peter and myself. You know, we used to shout at each other all the time, and Phil used to sometimes get very frightened of what was going on at all. You know, but then he'd sort of find his own kind of niche, and he made it sort of easier. I think it was quite an important addition. I think yes. I think that was his probably at that stage was one of the most important things he did. Really, was to sort of keep us a bit sort of saner.
Well, you keep telling me I got everything. You say I got everything I want. And you keep telling me you're gonna help me. You're gonna help me. But you don't. But now I'm in too deep. You see this coming so that I just can't sleep. Ooh, get me out of here. Please get me out of here. Just help me, I'll do anything, anything. You just help, get me out of here.
I remember we read about bands like Family that were getting £1,000 a night, and Yes were getting £1,000 a night. So we knew it could be done, but it did not take a long time to get going. I mean, actually, the first time the earnings really jumped was when Supper's Ready, really, in 72, 73, when Peter Gabriel started wearing hats and masks.
If you go down to the low farm to look for butterflies, flutterbugs, gutterflies, open your eyes. It's full of surprise. Everyone rides like the fox on the rocks. And the musical box.
William Friedkin, who directed The Exorcist, he had read some sleeve notes on the back of the first live album cover, and he thought they were surreal and quite exciting to, the mind who wrote these would be interesting to work with, and that was Peter. So he asked Peter if he'd collaborate on a screenplay with him, and he said that he'd like to do it, and would we stop the album while he did that? And of course we were on a roll, and we said, no, if you want to leave, if you want to do it, you're going to have to leave. I mean, it sounds completely unreasonable at the time, but at the time it seemed more logical. So he said, okay, writing it. And William Friedkin, I guess, panicked. He said, I don't want to split the band up, I mean, it's only an idea, it might not even work. So Peter came back.
I mean, from a musical point of view, the last thing I wanted him to do was to leave. We got on really well, and he was a close friend and everything. But just after that, I think we sort of felt that we're never quite sure how long he was going to be around for and everything. Also on the Lamb Lies Down album, he wanted to write all the lyrics, which he did, which was a sort of new thing. And I think he was finding it less and less easy to sing other people's words, which is fair enough. And I think in all senses it was kind of slight relief when he left, although we knew he had an awful lot of problems to overcome in terms of finding a singer and all that, and also the fact that the whole image of the band was totally wrapped up in Peter Gabriel.
I think everyone is as important as everyone else. It's the combination of people. And in fact, when Peter left, I think, there was a kind of feeling against him. It was like, well, what was he doing? And that was so wrong, because he was very important.
We had all agreed to stay together, that we were sort of determined to show people that it was a band, and it wasn't Pete's backing band, So we got together in Acton, Churchfield Road in Acton, and got a rehearsal studio and started writing. And we wrote what was to become A Trick of the Tail, which at that time was our best album.
We spent the first 3 months trying out singers. And then we suddenly realised that every time he sang the song to show them how to do it, they would do it, and he sounded better than them.
So I said, well, let me have a go.
He'd left to let nobody know. Gone with the towels he had known from a child, along with the dream of a life.
Even after we recorded the album, we decided to look for singers, because we thought, well, he can't play drums and sing, and he'll never leave drumming. And then he said, well, what about I go up singing and get a drummer in? So we said, oh, all right. And we were quite surprised, and it worked.
They got no horns and they got no tail. They don't really know of our existence. Am I wrong to believe in the city of gold that lies in the distance, crying whales? They led him away to a cage. Beasts that can talk read the sign. The creatures they pushed and they prodded his frame and questioned his story again. But soon they grew bored of their prey. The beast that can talk more like a freak or publicity stunt. Oh, 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 no.
The way it happened was extraordinary because we were doing Seconds Out at the time, mixing Seconds Out. And I was driving into London and I saw him on the street and I said, do you want a lift? Because we were supposed to be mixing the album, you know, we were supposed to all go into the studio. He said, no, it's all right, I'll call you later. So I got there and Tony and Mike said, have you heard? So I said, what? He said, Steve's left. So I said, I just saw him, he didn't say anything. Anyway, he called up later and said, listen, I thought it was best to tell you on the phone, but, you know, I'm going to leave. So I said, oh, OK. All right, and put the phone down. And it was strange. I mean, you know, the way it happened. I mean, if Steve's watching this, I mean, he might feel strange the way I'm talking about it, but it was, by the time these things do happen, that it is better that you get it over and done with. As a three-piece, we found a lot more room to breathe. And it wasn't like we were, you know, we were quite excited to be a three-piece instead of a four-piece. It's just the way it happened, and we just decided to carry on.
Ooh, the man steps out in the moonlight at the sound of a scream from below. He thinks he is a warrior, so he picks up his sword and goes. From the mouth of the monster, he rescues the maiden fair. Ah, but we know she's a demon, come to lure him to the demon's lair. Through restless foliage, tall trees he leads to a house in a clearing, a place in Happia she calls home.